Okay, World Cruisers, here we are. It's Monday, July 29th, 2024, and we're on Ultimate World Cruise in the port of Skagen, Denmark. And if anybody can read that word that was on that sign and leave me a comment about what it says, I have no idea. Anyway, we rented some bicycles today, and we're gonna. This is a small town, only 7 or 8,000 people. We rented bicycles and we're headed out to the most northern point of Denmark, right at the confluence of the Baltic and the North Sea. And immediately we noticed that it's an important fishing port for Denmark. Those beautiful fishing trawlers there, perfectly taken care of. There wasn't a spot of rust on them anywhere. They were absolutely beautiful. So we had e-bikes.
Good care of them.
In a minute, you'll be able to hear the electric motor of the e-bike.
I don't know what that thing is.
So everything within town is within walking distance. In fact, some on the ship even walked out to this northern point of Denmark where we're headed on our bicycles. Instead of riding, they walked. It's only a few kilometers. It's a beautiful town, and everything is so well taken care of. All these houses that were along the street here, there you can hear the electric motor on the bike, were perfectly maintained. They look beautiful. I have no idea what it's like up here in the wintertime, but in the summertime, it's absolutely beautiful. Mid 70s, slight breeze today, very nice. So that thing that you can see up there on the hill was the original lighthouse. There's a reef north of the spit of land. It's at the northern tip of Denmark where we're headed. And this, in I think 1627 was the year that this. It's like a derrick lighthouse, and there's a basket on the end of it. You're going to see it in a minute. We'll get a little closer. So they put something flammable in that basket and then lift it up with that counterweight so that it's burning. And the ships offshore can see the light and avoid the reef. There you go. So they must have put some oil or something up there so that it would burn all night. Although up here in these northern latitudes where we are, it doesn't stay dark very long in the summertime. Imagine it's the opposite in the winter, but the sun came up at 4 o'clock this morning, and it's after 10 now and still light outside. So this is the second generation lighthouse, just down the road from the first one. And it's no longer being used. It's not crooked, it just looks that way from the angle of the video. It's plumb. So then here's the third generation lighthouse on the way out to the very tip of Denmark. And this one may still be in operation. I don't know. It looks like it's in pretty good shape. Anyway, you can see the port of Skagen off on the left. Those ships are moored or anchored outside the harbor. So we're not that far. And so you're looking at the Baltic Sea on this side of Denmark. And I thought I'd go down and just check out and see how warm the water was. And I was actually pleasantly surprised. The water is not as cold as I expected it to be. Anyway, we're with our friends Mark and Jane Sweetman today. Here we are, Grennen, the northernmost tip of Denmark. And so this is the end of the road. And from here, you got to hike on out to the spit of sand. I'm going to walk up to that observation tower you can see. And there, looking straight out, you can see that sand out there. That is the northern tip. So to the right is the Baltic Sea, and to the left is the North Sea. And that spit of land is growing by 9 meters every year. So it gets about 27 feet longer every year as the sand piles up. So we're walking out there now. And I tested the water temperature on both sides, on the Baltic side on the right and the North Sea side on the left. And I really couldn't tell much difference between the two water temperatures. So as sand washes up from both seas, this spit of land gets longer every year. And it happened to be low tide, so we were able to go out quite a ways. There you can see the waves washing in from both directions and hitting each other and kind of splashing up. Water out here is nice and clean and clear, and I think I could actually go swimming in it for a while. It's not like it made your feet numb, and once you're in it, it was pretty comfortable. Next, so that's the northernmost tip. Now we headed south, the other direction from Skagen, a few kilometers to this church that's buried in the sand. And all that remains of it is the bell tower. So you're looking at the bell tower, the shifting sand here covered up the church down below. We're going to take a walk up there and walk to the top and see what the view looks like from there. And you can actually see Serenade of the Seas in the dock in Skagen from the top of this tower. There's a spiral staircase off on the left. It's very narrow, only one person can go at a time, so you have to wait for all the people to come down before you can go up. And once you get up to the top, there's a few more wooden staircases to get to the very top. Found a bird's nest up there. We tried to see if we could film the little baby birds that were in there, but it was too dark. I didn't get the date of this church, but it's quite old. That's looking back the direction we came from. And looking out the other side, you'll be able to see the port of Skagen and Serenade in the Seas way off in the distance. There, that small lump you can see out in the distance is Serenade, docked at the port. So we headed back, returned our bicycles and then walk back to the ship. And this is an old, it's the local Mariners Church there in Skagen. It looks like it has two different flags. Is it a Norway flag? I don't know. Denmark flag is the red one with the cross.
Compressor
I
of
don't know
some
what this
sort.
compressor was. They had it on display for all the people walking back to the ship. No idea. It's a very old compressor. No idea what they're using it for. Anyway, so here we are back to the ship, and we're headed for Warnemünde, Germany tomorrow. So stay tuned for some videos from Germany.